Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's do this. Open panel. I'll put the link in just a sec. There's something I want to share real quick. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Um, I don't know why. It seems like I'm not coming in. IG. How are you? Daniel Barry. Hello. Hello. I guess I'll wait a little bit. I'll wait a few minutes for people to get here so I can share this latest gem. Let's see. Iranian hackers had stolen Trump campaign information to the Biden. Ooh, so the Iranians are trying to help Biden win? They don't want Trump? Or is that just to confuse us? I don't know. That's why I'm not paying attention to any of this. And then they had that Russia, that explosion that we watched, the missile strike. Third, Abe, what are you up to? Let's check Twitter real quick. Nah, nothing there. Okay. Well, I want to share. I want to share with you this gem, real quick, that somebody made today. It's a channel on YouTube. I'll pop the link. Hey, Ticky Tack, what's up? I want to give this as an example. Um, I've talked about people going low before, like when they attack the autism, when they make fun of the rocking, when they call me girl or woman or feminize me somehow, like the gay stuff. They have like girl names for me. I've had that ever since like grade school. I'm not sure what their point is. It seems low and kind of hateful. And so this person made a video. I got a video made of me again. I'm the weird racist neurodivergent guy with antlers, and they were very thoughtful with it, and clever. They put an arrow through my neck. And the narrative was that this Republican, like I'm so into Republicans, I'm wandering in Republican territory, and I'm so naive, and I got shot because I'm a gay deer. And what were you doing in that territory? But that the Republicans didn't create this. They're not the author of this. That's the arrow thing was put in by the content creator, not by the Republicans. That's just their scapegoat and proxy. So it's just kind of a look into the id of the modern psyche when it comes to autistic people. And I think I've told this story before, in Vegas, in the gay community. I had a lot of drama there in the chat rooms, and somebody came in. And you got to remember, in Vegas, the chat rooms were one half of the real life gay community. They spilled over into each other. So we had the gay bars, house parties, social events that we would all meet at. We'd even show up with name tags. I'm not kidding, with our AOL and gay.com screen names, because the virtual real world life was so much like was almost one. It was that much of a crossover. And so any online drama had the potential to play out in real life. In fact, that's how I ended up getting my nose broken. There was some online drama that spilled over into real life. Um, and somebody came in the chat room one day with a profile of me, with my picture, like a fake account of me imitating me, and it had a bullseye target photoshopped over my face, and the headline was "Shoot Here." And I thought that was really like, I don't relate to that level of violence. Like, I've never felt somebody has to do something really personal to me, and I have to know them pretty intimately to be taken to that level of violence. And it's interesting seeing what I guess I'm sharing this to show two things. What people on the internet, YouTube content creators, whatever we are, what what we face, like some of the things that are out there, the level of hate, um, the level of violence sometimes, and secondly, what autistic people go through, like what people will do with our autism to try to use it against us. And there were some people that seemed to like this video, and you may find out you like it. I know Liz, Flaky Jake, seemed to think it was great work. So I don't know. Is violence, humorous violence against autistic people, a line? I'll let you decide, I guess. Um, Here's the link. We'll do a panel, open panel. Okay. And none of that was to scare anybody. It was kind of to show the level of violence and hatred and vitriol that can come out of these chats. So that if autistic people do come here, I just want you to be aware of what some people out there are thinking of us. I guess I'm the proxy, the mascot, the rep, the what do you call it, the avatar, what do they call the woke call the different members of the groups, and you stand in, like if you're black, you stand in for all black people, whatever that is anymore. All right, let me I think the link is pinned. Let me do some tweaks here. Alrighty, the stream continues. I'm back for the evening, or the outliers are back. I'm having really Angel. Hello, good to see you, sir. Oh, it had like the community was like online and or you mean just same drama? Gay, there's no drama like gay drama. I'm telling you. Gay drama, maybe Galavision, what is it? The telenovela, the Spanish soap operas, um, and then maybe where else do you see that level of drama? Oh yeah, yeah, because Vegas is there's not like a Castro or a Christopher Street or Greenwich Village or whatever, like a centralized gay neighborhood where all the gays hang out. Because Vegas is just one giant suburb and it's spread out. Vegas is like a circle with the strip in the middle and then suburbs. It's not really a city with the downtown. They have a small downtown, but again, it's casinos. And then everything's just a grid. It's a street grid. So there's not a lot of neighborhoods and character to neighborhoods, etc. So there's no like centralized gay spot. There's one little, they call it the Triangle. It has a lot of the gay clubs, so you could go park there on a Friday night and walk around to the different clubs. But that's not really a gay neighborhood. And so the chat room served as that. That was like the central hub of the gay community in Vegas, and then everybody filtered out from there. So and Vegas is very transient. New people are always coming in. And so they'd hit the chat room. Like all the new gay people would show up in Vegas and they'd hit the chat rooms. And you'd get to know them there, and then you'd meet them out at the bars. Or you might meet them at the bars, get their screen name, and then continue the interaction in the chat room. I liked it. That's kind of what I'm trying to get this to be eventually, like a big hybrid. That was on the city scale, the Vegas community, but having it like on a national or global scale. I remember I had a little group when I was in Vegas called Beyond the Bars, and it was kind of a social group. It was meetup before meetup. I organized it through AOL, and it was gay men who wanted to do activities together outside of going to the bars. We did bowling, we had movie nights, we had house parties, we went out to dinner, like restaurants, night outs, etc. And it was a social club, I guess, for gay men that wanted to meet other gay men outside of a bar setting, and that was kind of fun. to run for a while. And that had less of the drama because it was like a curated selection of people that wanted this very specific thing. So it tended to draw less of the drama crowd. But I eventually ended up having to leave the gay community completely because there was just so much drama. And me and my ex, the first ex, the narcissist, was our relationship was a big part of that drama. It like split the community in two, and you had like Team Jeff and Team this other guy, and it was almost like kind of like here where the different factions war. I mean, it's no different from probably a few thousand years ago. We're still playing out our evolutionary instincts here on YouTube. We have our tribes, the tribalism, the stereotype thinking, the fake conflict, the id coming out, the how people like things can escalate at a moment's notice with just a stone's throw from one side or another. It'll activate all the other players on that side. Hello, Liliana, sabotage. Oh, there tension with you a bit at the bars. Oh yeah. Oh, me too. Not only am I a nomad in real life, I've lived all over the place, and I pretty much lived out of my car. I had a car, everything I owned fit in a car. So like every few years or however, I could just pack it up and move if I needed to, and I loved living that way. Oh, the comment above. Yeah, that kind of shit. Gay and like the way I got my nose broken was by the best friend of my ex. I was living in Louisiana at the time, and but we were all still communicating through AOL, and there was some AOL drama that I exposed. There was some faggotry and sexcraft going on, and Mike. They were trying to involve Mike, which was me and him just started dating, and that's the guy that ended up becoming the love of my life, and so in order to protect Mike, I exposed all of their drama. And then one of the players in the drama, the ex's best friend, sent me an email saying that, and I was already planning to move back to Vegas from Louisiana, saying that you better not let me see you on the street when you get to Vegas, and otherwise it's your ass or something like that. And so I reported that email. I called the cops. I told them I'm planning to move to Vegas. I just wanted a record. I wanted a paper trail. I didn't expect them to do anything. I just wanted a paper trail. And they said in Louisiana it's not illegal to send threatening emails, that and because it happened in Vegas. No, I think the law was that it was wherever the person being threatened. So it fell under Louisiana law because the threat was received in Louisiana, even though it was sent from Vegas. And under Louisiana law, there was nothing they could do, but they did give me a case number, and I started a paper trail. And sure enough, when he saw me on the street at a bar one night, he was drunk, probably full of some other chemicals. Who knows? It was gay club days. He left. He I didn't mess with him at the bar, and he left. And he and his friends waited outside for me in the parking lot. They waited like 20 or 30 minutes for me to leave the bar. And because I purposely let them leave first and waited in the bar to give them time to leave because I could sense that there was potential for, like, I already knew this guy wanted a piece of me, and not in a gay way. And so when I went outside and started walking to the car, I didn't know they were still at their car in the parking lot, and he came up to me, but the whole point of saying it was some gay drama over relationships and who's dating who and who's cheating on, just like you see on Galavision, that spilled over into real life. That I stepped in and tried to head off, or at least protect from my boyfriend, who didn't. He wasn't. He did not deserve to be involved in any of it. It was the drama crowd trying to drag in somebody that was not part of the drama crowd into their drama crowd, and me coming in and protecting that person. I would do it for anybody, even if they were a friend, but because he was my boyfriend, I absolutely was not going to have them involve him. And so that's what started. The whole point was yes, gay drama, online, offline. I call myself a drama magnet. I don't necessarily, I don't go looking for drama. I don't start drama, but because I was raised in a lot of drama, I have like I'm desensitized to it. So a lot of it can happen around me before I even notice it's happening. So for that reason, drama tends to collect around me, and I become a magnet for. And then sometimes I get pulled into other people's drama from just attracting it around me. But I'm not the one that like instigates all the drama everywhere I go. All right, let's see. Yeah, there was. I won't go. I won't tell this story on stream, but there was a separate gay drama with my ex involving cooties, and yeah, it was. He's an ex for a reason. No, that's that'll be Patreon content. Yeah, people from Louisiana a lot of times are, or New Orleans when we move to other places, or even Vegas, I would say. I spent most of my adult life in Vegas, New Orleans, if you don't count Seattle. Those are not like normal, everyday, mainstream American cities. They're both kind of wild. They're both 24-hour cities. They draw outliers and misfits from all over. Um, and so I'm used to living in environments that are a little more wild and dramatic. And so Vegas, I fit right in. That was Vegas was the perfect setting for drama because it was a Vegas can handle it can be a container for a large amount of drama that another city may not be able to necessarily accommodate. And so drama was kind of the norm in Vegas. You didn't try to avoid the drama because it was always around. You just kind of learned how to navigate through it. And in Vegas, the everybody was a friend of me. Your best friend in Vegas was an enemy waiting to happen because friends always turned it so like you knew it was gonna happen. You didn't know when, but you knew any potential person in Vegas you were close to was gonna turn into an enemy at any second because the politics were so dynamic. And that's what was so valuable about Mike and I is because we had this strong bond and this strong trust that we had built together independently of Vegas, and that allowed us to like work as this solid rock that and people try just like the street. Oh my God, this is so good to talk about because it's bringing up all kind of memories. When Mike and I first, long dramatic story, but the ex, my I met Mike through our ex because after I left him and moved back to Louisiana, he started dating Mike, who was from New England, and convinced Mike to move to Vegas and buy a house with him. And then he ended up somehow getting the house in his name, and Mike was deaf. He had a cochlear implant that gave him a little bit of hearing in one ear. He couldn't really do phone calls or anything. So I kind of stepped in and helped him get that house back. And so once we got his house back and we started being a couple, every gay in Vegas wanted a piece of that. And they were constantly showing up at the house with these plots and schemes to separate us and try to get him. They wanted me out and they wanted to put themselves in the picture because he was he had a good job. He was like, I guess, high status male. He was what people look for. He could provide. He was very intelligent. He was very presentable. He was a ballroom dancer. He was a catch. I'm not gonna lie, Mike was a catch. I've always said he was better than I am. He was truly the better half. And so there was so much drama the first year or so that we would try to be together. And we had roommate drama. We had 30 roommates. We had It was 4 bedrooms, and we rented out 2 of the bedrooms. So at any given time, we had 2 roommates and the boyfriend or the friend group or whatever. So there was always, they called it the gay flop house. And within about 5 year period, we had 30 roommates. It was like every other month, somebody was moving out, another person was moving in, and so it was this constant cycle of drama, just for years. And eventually, we ended all that. When the last roommate moved out, we closed the borders. Mike called it North Korea. He said, "This is North Korea. No more roommates. Closed border." And that's when we decided this is our sanctuary. We're making it a place that we can have the life we want to have. And in Vegas, that was like, that was gold. That was truly an oasis. Because you go out in Vegas, you deal with your drama. Mike had his work drama. I had my work drama. I had my friend drama. And when you walked through the front doors of our house, all that disappeared. And you were in a place where it was your world. None of that applied, and you could do the stuff you wanted to do with the people you wanted to do it with, and it was very, very healthy. And it's kind of reminded me of here. It's like bringing me back to those instincts of me trying to create a healthy sanctuary from the drama, and um, everybody coming to here like trying to do that, work their own agenda on it until we finally put a stop and drew a border. Like I might have to make this North Korea. Hey, Spike, what's up with you? You leave? Oh, I don't know. It's just me. The link should be pinned. Come up, Lanza. No, not well. Not at our. I wasn't that. I was very I'm a very monogamous. I'm monogamous by nature. I'm not a hoe. I had a hard time. I've told this story before where I met a couple that wanted me to be their third, and so for like a week or two, I was hanging out with them, and we were kind of trying to figure out if they wanted to add me as a third, and it was a thruple, they called it. And even that was weird. And we would all sleep in the same bed together, and they were like husbands. It was just I didn't handle that well at all, and like even that. And it wasn't even that wasn't even like even a sexual. It hadn't even got to the sexual part yet. No, I'm not. But that was the gay norm of my generation, and I did hang out with that crowd. So at any given party, you might see lube, you might see, it was Vegas. We had pools, we had hot tubs, we had big homes with rooms everywhere, closets, all kinds of stuff. So, oh, I know what I could do to kill time. Let me figure out how to do this. I could show you our Mardi Gras party that we threw. I was the Mardi Gras. I brought Mardi Gras to Vegas, at least in the gay community. And let me find it. Let me see if there's a way to do this without. I think I can. Um, and then one year, my friend, he worked. He did he had his own business, a printing business, and he did a lot of work for some of the casinos. He would print some of the big posters that you'd see hanging up, advertising the different concerts and events and stuff. And he had connections with some of the casinos, and he was able to get all of these like life-sized Mardi Gras props that we put all over his house. And I could share some of those pictures, I guess. So this is like gay life in Vegas, circa 2002, I believe. This is our big Mardi Gras party. He look, dude, he went out and he bought a dance floor. This is like lights on a rigging, and he bought a fog machine and vanilla fog and everything. Um, this my friend. He's the host. Look at this is his living room turned into a gay nightclub. That's one of my exes. Not the ex, just we ended up being friends. Hot tub, yeah, the diversity hire in the hot tub. So yeah, this is just an example of kind of the what we how we lived. Can we pay to play videos? I don't mind videos. My only concern is copyright because I'm constantly getting those takedown notices, even when people try to convince me that it's safe, it's safe, it's safe. Somehow YouTube still catches it every time. And I don't know if it's because it's a live stream or it's a fresh stream that the algorithm is catching it in the moment where it may not be on other channels. So I'm very conservative about playing videos. No, you did not see Mike in the background. I can confirm. I have pretty good gaydar. I can confirm that Mike is. I don't get a read on him that way, and I take him at his word. Well, he might because he takes an interest in people, and I just as I would take an interest in. I love looking at like back in my day when you had photo albums and like Polaroids, and you put them in a big book. Um, I loved when I was at random people's house and they started showing photos, or they'd break out their like packets of photos because you used to take your film to the drugstore and they develop it and they'd give you all your pictures back in this big gold envelope and with negatives and extra copies and everything. And so sometimes they'd take out like packets of that. They'd start going through their photos. I love looking at photos and hearing people's stories about the photos. Or like when you'd go through yearbooks, they talk about the different, even if I didn't know the people, just hearing the stories about the different people were fascinating to me. I could do that for hours. All right. I guess, I don't know. I'll go. I feel like I'm monologuing about nothing really. Um, but I don't want to end yet. I notice I am streaming kind of earlier tonight, so maybe that's it. We just have to wait for the crowd to get here. Um, I look, I'm blank. I'm already empty. Let's see who's streaming. Maybe we can go spy on a stream. Um, Glenn Lawrence making relationships work during today's gender war. He's talking with, let's see, some girl. Kat Katibi. That might be interesting. Um, oh, TML is live. Zatoichi. It's TML in Reddington. Oh, it's that Birdo character. Who's is that restreaming somebody? Let Hey, let's spy on Zat because that Birdo character is on that they wanted me to get to
Is
know.
it?
Oh, wait, we got a Kiwi.
I don't
I
know what
keep
is it out
fucking
there.
that up. Kiwis to.
That's us,
I,
mate. I spent 20 years in Australia.
I
That's
try to
Birdo.
piss off Aussies with the whole Kiwi thing. It doesn't work half the time. They're just like, "You're fucking idiots."
When you try to piss off an Aussie with a Kiwi, they tend to stick together, and vice versa,
Wait, is this an Aussie and a Kiwi? Is that what's happening?
because we're so close as neighbours. We
Yeah.
No wonder nobody's over here. Zat has all the cool panelists tonight. Yeah, I like Zat. He does. He does. He's one of. I consider him part of this community. His stream is as good as this stream. Eventually, I'd like to get like a little collection of streamers that all do similar streams. That between the 5 or 6 of us, we're always on, and so there's just a continuous space to hang out. Yep, I would. Zat, Kane's Catharsis. He's started streaming lately. He's getting into it. All the people that come here from, I guess it's the Vegas Valley community. I call it the Mike Cerrone community, but the Vegas Valley community. Hebrew does streams a lot. I see he's been streaming lately. Liliana streams. Oh, okay, cool. I tell you what, I'm gonna go get a refill and then come back. Do I have a video I could play? Yes, I do. I re-uploaded the one from yesterday. I took the clip out, and so it wasn't available until recently. So I'll just like play some of that, and unless y'all want to, or actually maybe Untrackable can take over for a minute or two, and I'll go grab some coffee. Welcome.
Oh, you going for a refill?
Yeah, I was gonna go for a refill, and
I got-
so if you want to hang out and talk a little bit, otherwise I was gonna play a video.
Usually when I talk to myself, I'm all alone.
Well, here, commenters, why don't you give Untrackable something to talk about? And he can practice a monologue, like see how he does. Monologuing's a good skill to have if you ever want to panel or YouTube. Being able to talk alone for however long you need to.
Yeah, I'll do it if the chat will engage. I'll
Would
talk
you
to him.
still support the government if it's starting regressing into old policies like segregation, like the DEI people are doing right now in their trainings, segregating people into different classrooms? Hmm, good question. Let's see what Untrackable thinks. I'll be right back.
I think I support the government to do what they're supposed to do. Um, I think people vote for the government. I also think there's some underlying things that don't really coincide with the votes. But at the same time, you know, screw the government. What are you doing for you? Because yeah, it's not any single person with any single belief is going to make a country. Some people can't protect their own farms, or not necessarily farms, but like if you have property, what's going to stop the kids from taking a shortcut through your property so they don't have to go the long way home? You know what I mean?
We did.
Yeah, we did too. And when we ran into a fence, we hopped it and we ran, and then we hopped the other side of the fence. Sometimes we brought our bikes with us.
Yeah.
So the whole would you support the government? Yeah, I they're already taxing the shit out of me. But
Are they
I
taxing
mean
you as much as YouTube taxes us content creators?
I would probably say
Like,
more.
oh wow, because they take a third of our cut.
But that's just money. They're taxing my lifestyle. So
Oh, so
if
like your
every
like sales tax, like the things you buy.
well, you know, that's going to be a hard conversation, honestly, because I'm not going to say that you're wrong, but what I am going to say is, um, when they make uh, like health insurance mandatory, and if you don't have a private health insurance, then your income tax gets taxed.
Hmm.
That was the universal healthcare system.
Yeah, that ACA.
And I'm not against universal healthcare. I just think there's already enough money. And I have to leave. I'm sorry. I have to take this call from my wife.
Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. Hopefully we'll still be here. Wow. Just gets well, that part's voluntary. All right, the Mike Cerrone comments. I'm going to start with the timeout. If they continue, he's not even here, guys. If they continue, it's going to be a permanent ban. I'm cleaning up this chat. This is childish, juvenile. I thought about it. Like once I get a decent income flow, I want to start doing like a certain percentage back to like I'm going to use it to support channels and super chat and all that kind of stuff. But I that's like my version of tithing back to the panelverse. Yeah, you can say whatever. This is not a free speech zone. You know that. I've said that before, and you have no problem speaking your mind here. Like I saw that you liked the video, Saul did too. So I've seen your speech. I know how you feel about autistic people. Oh, like I'm open to the kickoff game as long as it doesn't cause a lot of drama because people seem to have success with that, like keeping it light and fun. And so something like that I might try if it's with the right crowd. You can rent wrenches, but you can't mod. Like for some reason, wrenches that you can't use to mod people are a hot commodity around here. So yeah, you can rent a wrench, and they come with a free second timeout. That was part of the original deal. And so you can time one person out for 10 seconds if that gives you some kind of charge. And then but that's it. If you mod after that, you get it taken back and your money goes down the tube. Well, my thing with you, like one day it was you and somebody else in the comments, and I just thought you really went low and showed your ass. And ever since then, that just stuck in my mind. That's what I'm saying. When people take attacks across a certain line, they're permanently changing the way I'm able to see them in my mind at that point. And I can't take them as seriously as a pro-social human being that wants to form community with others. When I see that side of him, I just can't reconcile the two. Will I block mods? Oh, you mean can mods buy a wrench and then say all the stuff about Mike that I would normally not let people say? No. Well, if transgender, if that was you that tried that today, it didn't go so well. But if you show yourself on camera like everybody else, and I think giving the community some power to interact, and super chats kind of are that in a way. And I could if y'all have ideas for emojis or badges or stuff like I have the ability to add all that stuff. I'm just not a very graphic visual thinker. Um, he's as protected as anybody else that comes here for what I'm offering. Yeah, somebody transgender Christ or something tried to come backstage and I forgot what happened, but something weird happened. Oh, they were using one of Hebrew's little. You know how he has his little doll collection of photos, avatars. I don't need help. I'm the last person that needs help judging. I know how to. I got the judging part down, so you don't need to clarify for me at all how to judge. You could judge me however you want. Seriously, you are not. You will not be the 100,000th person that's judged me in my life. So judge on, and I can judge you on anything I want. Uh oh, I didn't know y'all were having drama. Oh, sorry. I don't know if he's. I didn't know if you were back or not.
Yeah, I had to take a phone call. It's all good.
So I think we were talking about like taxes and the government and paying taxes and how much people get taxed.
Yeah, I only from personal experience. I'm okay with needing infrastructure, needing schools, needing public services. I understand that that's where our tax money should go. But
Yeah, I think we do need basic services to keep a
but
society going.
and honestly, I think almost those things that I just mentioned, the schools, the firefighters, you know, we need people to protect people from other people, so that's why we have police. I believe in these things. I but I also believe in that the fact that hey, if we're doing good, other countries don't like us, and it doesn't matter what country you're in. You need a national defense.
Yeah, I would think so. I would hope so, especially with all this stuff happening in the world today.
But sometimes when you see it so publicly that your tax dollars aren't they're not going to the issues in your neighborhood. They're not going to issues in your state. They're not going to the issues in your country. That's when it gets political. It's like rather than use the people's money to help the people, they use the people's money to help influence situations that honestly, uh, so many times it it's it can be a superficial thing. Now, being a veteran, I can say that there was a lot of what do you call it? Um, Development that goes on when you have ridiculous, seemingly undefined funding to create something like GPS or night vision or the many things. Well, if you give the government the money, um, they're going to pay way too much, but the people are going to get it anyway. But it takes longer. Where when you have other companies, they're going to run it like a company rather than a research and development unit that's trying to make something that is going to eventually wind up in the people's hands anyway. Um, it's kind of playing both roads. Like, hey, we need development, but if you work for the government for that development, uh, it's the government paying for it. Whereas you could have investors, and next thing you know, you have a private company that's developing different types of munitions, different types of rockets, different types of techniques. You know what I mean?
Yeah, do we have that now? Do we have both?
I think we're working on it, but for instance, what I just said was kind of geared towards Elon Musk. And I think the things that are happening with the privatized assistance connected to the government is a good thing. But I think when just like we've been talking about on panel, like calling somebody out, or somebody's doing too much to try to prove their point. It's like, well, Elon Musk has done a lot for electric vehicles, even though I think they have their place, but I don't think electric vehicles have everything. But that's a personal belief of mine. But at the same time, um, SpaceX has done quite a lot. And over the past 20 years, NASA has done almost nothing compared to what the privatized space exploration or possibilities of or research and development of. But then I also got to say, it's like, hey, you're running something that is very important to people. And these accomplishments, they mean very much to people. So when you have an election and you go into a public platform and Jeff, I drink. I drink and I smoke and I smoke and I drink and all that stuff. But to jeopardize the gains that have been made because, oh, hey, I stayed up one night and I made a tweet and I'm in charge of these gains. These technological gains, these research gains, these,
You talking about
you
Elon?
know, yes. I think some of the leaders of the free world, leaders in industry, honestly, I think their PR people need to be fired because they shouldn't be allowed to just spit hot fire like they were rappers on Twitter. You should keep your daggone mouth shut.
What about free speech, though? You can't muzzle an American.
Shutting somebody up and encouraging them to keep their mouth shut are different things.
How?
Because it's the Miranda rights, right? You have the right to remain silent, but you don't have to. But if you say some dumb shit, it can and will be used against you
In
in the
that
court.
specific situation, yeah, but our free speech rights are not Miranda.
Right, but the same ideology behind the rights of uh become they become the, what do they call it, the same, okay.
Why is speech so scary to people when it comes from people at the top?
Well, I'm just saying that if I'm in charge of a whole bunch of stuff that creates jobs um and is connected to the government, and we all get to witness it, these gains, these research gains and all that stuff, right?
Like SpaceX and Tesla and all that stuff
Okay.
that he's done.
But then I go and say something so pointed and so one-sided just because somebody said that they were going to vote for somebody that's not who you're going to vote for.
What did he say? I'm not sure what tweet. Is it a specific tweet he said recently? Because I'm not following any of the Elon stuff.
Okay. And I look at Reddit when I'm at work because I can scroll, but uh, from what I saw, Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris, and Elon Musk tweeted, "I'll put a baby in you," and It was something
What?
along those lines.
I didn't hear
Yeah,
about this. Hang on.
and again, I can't say whether it's real or not. I mean,
Well,
it's
that's the
Reddit.
in this day and age, the very first thing that we have a responsibility to do is to identify misinformation from fact. And so I'm going to look right now and see if this is even a real thing because a whole narrative is already built around it. All right, it's on his like he tweeted it
From
on
what
his
I've
channel.
seen, from what I've seen on the past couple days, is that he deleted it, but at the same time, he made a follow up tweet about saying certain things that cause certain reactions. You know what I mean?
All
And
right.
if you're in such a position, um, honestly, I think you should. And this is my opinion. This is my opinion. Is that if you want to maintain or be on the both sides of what this research could do, um, keep your daggone mouth shut. Like run what you're doing, and don't
But
just be drunk texting in the middle of the night. You know what I
that
mean?
doesn't seem American to me. That position. To tell another American to keep their damn mouth shut if they have more responsibility than the rest of us. This is the tweet. He said, "Fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life." I don't even know what that means. But I don't see anything about putting a baby in her.
Oh, okay. I think maybe that was
Because
along the
people are going to
lines.
sensation. They want the maximum emotional reaction to this, so they're going to sensationalize it. So if all he said is "I'll give you a child," they're gonna spread the gossip as "I'll put a baby in you" because that's going to get more of a reaction when a random person hears it on social media. Oh, did you hear what Elon said to Taylor? He's going to put a baby in her when that's not what he said. He said, "I'm going to give her a child." And so that's why I try to drill down to that initial, like, little seed that started the whole narrative. And I don't even know what this means, honestly. Fine, you win. She wins what? I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life. Well, I don't even. How is this news? That it's almost nonsense. What am I missing about this tweet?
I think you hit the nail on the head right there by saying this is nonsense. Because one,
But
I don't
because of
think he.
this is the tweet you said he better keep his fucking mouth shut. That you want him like restrictions, and that's what Hillary. That's what that Hillary video was saying. Because of this tweet, people don't think he should be allowed to say that. But any other American could type that. But because he's Elon, he should not be allowed to type it. And that's just not American. We all have that right. That's like saying CEOs shouldn't be allowed to own guns because they have more power or responsibility, so it's more dangerous to let them have guns. That's not how America works, or that's not how I want it to work.
But I guess what I'm getting at is if you're trying to maintain support for something that is zero, it doesn't have sides. Research doesn't have
Do you
sides.
think
It don't,
people would pull out of the research because of this? Like the fund? You think this would put his projects at jeopardy? And if it does, that's on him. That's just him being a bad businessman and like sinking his empire. But I
again,
don't think
it's
SpaceX and Tesla and like whatever. Remember, they're supposed to get the astronauts off of that spaceship. I don't think all that's going to stop just because Elon tweeted something that people don't like. But I could be wrong because in the age of social media, as reactive as people are, it could very well be that tweets are having more of a influence on people than something like that ordinarily would.
and again, I'm not saying he doesn't have the freedom to say or shouldn't have the freedom to say whatever he wants. I'm just saying when you have the freedom to say what you say, and say something that is taken differently by the, you know, I would say beyond the bell curve. So, like, if you're an average person, I think you want the good on both sides. Whereas extremists will be all, hey, oh, he burned her good, or, you know, Elon's gone bad. He's gone. He's gone the other way. Um, don't support him. So, as far as, you know, if you're a business person, I think I said this before. Is you're trying to collect a funnel so that way you can keep doing what you're doing, and the more the merrier, as long as you stay consistent to your product. But when the ideologies of whoever's in charge um, compartmentalizes a side, like taking a side, it can make people say, hey, I heard what the CEO said in their public statement, and I'll just find an electric car someplace else. I'll find my pillow before I buy my pillow. You know what I'm saying? That
I don't even know what
the
my
my
pillow is. Like, what's so
well,
like?
well
Why would
there's a
someone
guy.
want a my pillow?
Uh, I'm his name's Mike
Yeah,
Wendell.
that Trump guy. The is what's
Exact.
special about a my pillow, or is he just a salesman?
He's probably just a salesman. However, he went so hard for Trump. I think it went against his company
Yeah, and
because
that Mexican guy too that sells that Mexican part. What is it, Goya or one of those Mexican labels? His sales dropped too when he came out and supported Trump. I remember that in the news. Maybe it was 2020.
but I hope that makes sense. I don't think it's
But
bad
your
for them
opinion
to have.
makes sense. Like business people shouldn't say dumb things in public because it could hurt their bottom line. But I don't think the state or the government needs to be involved at all. I don't think it should be a law. I don't think we need to restrict Elon from tweeting in any kind of way if we're not going to restrict the rest of us. There's no reason to treat him special just because he's Elon or he's in the position he's in as far as his speech goes. So what you're saying is an opinion, like yeah, it's dumb of him to do this. That's one thing, but as a law, if it's the foundation for an argument that the state should somehow come in and restrict his speech, which is exactly what people like Hillary and other people are saying. And remember that was it Belgium or one of those countries tried to file that thing on Elon where he wouldn't be able to have Twitter in Europe, or they were suing him or something. And he had to withdraw it. That you know what I'm talking about? The Belgian guy. Let's see.
I'm not even saying what he said or he says is dumb. I'm saying when
Terry
so
Breeden.
like so like you and I are talking. Um, I could say I like Coca-Cola. You could say you like Pepsi. And we can argue about this for ages. But if I go on, let's just say you as a Pepsi person change my mind about how I feel about Coca-Cola. Let's just say that. And then I go on social media, something that is out there. It's in the ether. Everybody's going to see it that has the connect words and everything. And I denounce Coca-Cola and I say, you know what? Pepsi does it better.
You have that right as an American. I don't see the problem.
Right, but then when I go to try to get a job or a contract that just so happens to be Coca-Cola, they have the right to do a background check, and oftentimes nowadays, especially, they do a social media check to make sure that you're not a serial killer and stuff like that. But if they see anti them, they're going to be like, well, there's a conflict of interest here because you have popularized not liking our products. So how could we possibly give you a job? You know what I mean?
How does that apply to Elon?
Well, because he contracts with the government to do these things.
So the government might not, like if Kamala gets elected, she might stop contracting with Tesla and SpaceX. I somehow doubt she has the ability to stop that momentum. But is that the
No,
fear? Like Elon might say something that makes the government pull out of their contracts?
well, not necessarily that, but if his statement sways voters, hey, he may say,
People in America are allowed to sway voters. That's part of the democratic political process. That goes all the way back to ancient Greece and the art of rhetoric. We are allowed to politically persuade people in America. There should be no interference with that whatsoever.
I think it's getting mixed. Maybe my point is that I'm not saying that he should be shut up.
Because
I'm
it
saying,
sounded like you were, and one of the reasons is because people like Hillary Clinton, I played a video of her the other day, are saying exactly that. So when I hear your opinion, I'm trying to make sure that it's not the same that Hillary's like the same argument that Hillary's trying to make. Because there are people that are saying the exact stuff that you're saying you're not saying, and that's why I'm trying to make sure that
okay,
separate what
uh,
you're saying from what other people are putting out there right now about like
what,
what we should do about Elon and his tweets. In fact,
okay,
that EU, it was Terry Breton. He's the head of what the fuck, the EU commissioner, and he sent him a letter about his content that promotes hatred, disorder, incitement to violence, or instances of disinformation, and he has an obligation to police that, and if he doesn't, he hinted that there could be consequences, and he got slapped down. Like everybody came out and wrote a letter against this guy saying you should not have sent Elon that letter. You overstepped your bounds. It was overreach. But people are taking those steps. They're not even talking about it. They're taking active steps to make moves to restrict this dude's speech, like what he tweets. And there were people that wanted Trump off of Twitter, and they were so glad when Trump got Twitter taken away from him. He lost his megaphone. That shit is not American. I'm not denying that it's happening, but that bothers me probably more than anything else right now as far as an indicator of the direction of the country going in a way opposite from what I want it to go. And at the root of it, it's fear. It's fear of speech. Like they are scared to let Trump speak because of the effect it might have on some people. And I'm not responsible for how crazy people interpret what I say. And I shouldn't have to modify my message because other people out there might take it a certain way. I should have the freedom to speak my truth in the form that I can best communicate it.
okay. I'm trying to fine tune what I'm saying, and that is by far, uh, you know, these apps or these platforms that egg people on to, hey, say what's on your mind.
Yeah.
Say what's on your mind. That's a good thing for the platform because people will feel free. However, people in certain positions, and in my opinion, especially with jobs, lives on on the stake. Um, should I'm not saying the platform or the law, like you mentioned about we have the freedom to speak, and if you're going to give me a platform, I'm going to say what I gotta say. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm going to make some shit up and I'm going to say it. But if you have that much under you, um, the critiquing of somebody else's vote, that's some superficial little
People,
bullshit.
CEOs are allowed to have political opinions. And he's also a
Right.
private citizen. He's allowed to have an opinion about Kamala's endorsement. He's not required to be politically neutral. It
Right.
might be
But
good
as
business, but he gets to make that decision of how good of a businessman he wants to be versus what he wants to express. But I don't think he should be exempt from our current free speech laws just because he's Elon.
oh no, I believe he should totally be free to say things that
Like he
uh,
shouldn't comment on candidates at all. He's not allowed to express his political opinion because he's Elon, but all the rest of America can. Everyone
I'm
else
just
gives their opinion. All the other politicians give their opinions. Hillary gives her opinion. Obama gives his opinion. That's going to influence people. Why can't Elon give his opinion?
I think it's the style of the way you do it. And there's nothing against. I'm not saying they should not be allowed to do these things. I'm
Because there
saying
are people that are saying that.
I'm saying if I wanted to continue with what I'm doing, maybe if I believe what I'm doing is good for everybody, what I'm doing is good for everybody.
So you have a problem with his leadership. You don't you this is an opinion. Like you have a different opinion on how you would run the business if you were in his position. And but he's autistic, so he's doing it a different way. That might not be how somebody else would do it in his position. But I don't think any of what he's doing should be criminalized. I don't think he's doing anything criminal by having an opinion and expressing it.
Oh,
If he were
but
if
by
he were trying to incite violence or whatever falls outside of our current speech parameters, I would say yes. But that tweet I read about Taylor Swift, I don't even know what it means. I have no idea what people are reading in it that has this even in the news as a story. Like I don't know like why saying what did he say? I'm going to give you a child and protect your cats. Like why that's suddenly a threat to democracy or a threat to Tesla or a threat to SpaceX and suddenly like the government partnership with those is I'm not making the connection because the tweet barely makes sense to me at all.
well, for instance, I think I've seen as well that Elon Musk's own child is basically denouncing him.
Yeah, that happens with children and parent. I'm trying to tie it to like the government and to what extent it's a state issue that society needs to weigh in on or do something about. Like, why are people scared of letting Elon tweet? Why are people scared of letting Trump tweet? Because there's people out there that might do something in response. People have always been allowed to speak, and other people have done something in response. What has changed? Like, why is that suddenly a dangerous thing?
I don't think it's so much about stifling somebody's speech as much as it is taking responsibility for what you say.
Yeah, I think we all do. Like how is he not taking responsibility? He's not denying that he said the tweet. Like what responsibilities is he supposed to like donate to a fund or something every time he says something people don't like? What responsibility is he not taking? It sounds like you don't want him to have said it. The responsibility is he should not have said it in the first place, and that's having an opinion about what he should and should not be saying.
I think in the position that he's in, um, the context of whatever that tweet was about Taylor Swift and giving you a baby and this
That's not
stuff like that.
that's not what he said though.
Well, what did he say? I'm
Let's
gonna
see.
give you a baby
I pulled it up and I closed it. Let me see if I can get it back up.
because I misquoted it before.
Okay, why can't I find it? Give me a minute. All right, here it is. This is the tweet that has everybody scared and up in arms over speech. Fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life. And the whole world is hyperventilating, and they're concerned about letting this guy continue to tweet, and they have strong opinions of what he would say. And I don't know how out of that one tweet you get those kind of emotions. Like I'm trying to understand the psychology of that causing the reaction that it is in people. Oh, a child is so it there's context for it. Like he's making references to other things that I don't know about either. J.D. Vance made a remark about childless cat. Did he make it specifically about Taylor? Or Elon's trying to tie Taylor to. This is all stupid. Does any of this seem stupid to y'all?
It, hey, Jeff, uh, it all seems stupid to me. All of it seems stupid. It's superficial bullshit. In my opinion, all of it, all of it is superficial bullshit.
That's what it seems like to me. Are we just that bored as a society that this is now what excites us?
Yeah, I wasn't trying to make an argument for Elon Musk, his tweets. I wasn't trying to make an argument for Taylor Swift. I'm sitting here, hey, I'm paycheck to paycheck, and these rich people get to, you know, use the platforms that are owned by this person and can be sung about and widely spread about by this person, and it it has nothing to do with my vote. Nothing to do with it. It's this is just a distraction, in my opinion. Watching two rich people argue, that's entertainment.
They can come argue on here. I'll do a drama episode if Elon and Taylor want to come on and troll each other. Yeah, it does seem stupid. Taylor and Elon are having some Twitter feud, and Hillary Clinton and this guy in the EU is thinking that we need laws now to restrict Elon's speech. There's some disconnect here that's so fucking stupid. And Hillary's from my generation. Like she was one of the leaders and people everybody looked up to in my generation that was supposed to be sane and sensible and reasonable. Like how do people get to this in their head? Oh, you think you don't even this is like content. It's production. It's not even a real thing. They're just trying to manufacture outrage.
Yeah, and like I said about earlier, about if you understand the bell curve, like it, and both sides, if you look at it politically, have their bell curve. Or your grid. Go ahead and put a plus sign. And are you left, far right? It, but I think the majority of people are right there within the gradient of the middle. Whether you're left, right, upper, center, it's probably a couple of blocks because you're just trying to live your life. But you find people that, okay, you fly a flag that might take you a couple of blocks. Um, no, you start a YouTube channel that's going in that direction. That might take you a couple more blocks. Oh, you show up to a protest with all your stuff and your streaming. That might take you a couple more blocks. But the majority of people don't do all that shit. Like, we just wake up and go to work in the morning, and we want happy and healthy families. Uh, you know what? You guys can fight, but I'm I'm going to work tomorrow. I'm gonna take my kid to school tomorrow. I'm gonna come home. We're gonna eat dinner. I don't know what to tell you. So that's why I get a little bit on the sides of why do people with so much power engage in such childish, uh, low level
Everybody
bullshit?
does. There's no
I'm
power
not
and
saying,
wealth doesn't imply any kind of moral advancement. Like they, Elon's not doing anything that some little junior high school kid at his dinner table at a trailer park is not also saying or doing on Twitter to somebody at his school. Like this is, I don't know why people have different expectations of people that achieve success, like moral expectations, than the rest of us. Like I don't think.
I
I
don't
think
even think it's a,
I think you see. I don't know if it's a class thing, but I think it is a leadership thing. Like I think you see them, you have them elevated to a certain role with, and there's expectations that come with that role. But I don't necessarily have them in that. I just see them as ordinary people like you and I that just happen to build a company and become successful. I don't. They're not mortal gods that are now held to this higher standard than the rest of us because they've ascended to some higher plane of being. And they're certainly not my leaders. They're no different than me and you. I don't see any. If Eli was sitting here, I would treat him any differently than I'm treating you. He's just another human on this planet to me. I don't see him as this powerful person in my life. I'm glad he's doing all this good stuff for society, but psychologically, he has no hold on my psyche any more than anybody else. And Dirty Dog, you may be right. That is not the world I move in for sure. But some of it, I notice a theme on here, and I'm not saying necessarily you, Untrackable, but a lot of people that come on here, there's kind of a distrust of power or wealth. They don't like people that get too much of something makes these people nervous for some reason. And I've never been bothered by other people being successful. It's never really impacted my life, or it's never made me scared of them.
well, you don't have to live scared. You don't have to do that. But let's just say that there's a big hiring boost because of something that politics made successful, or a contract that is going to give you a job. But then the CEO of the company does something that makes investors run for their lives and
You
makes
think
voters vote a certain way to where you're not going to be the prime candidate for the next contract over the next election. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
but that seems like a business thing. Like businessmen have to worry about that, but the rest of us don't. And does that happen often where companies constantly? I know that Budweiser took a hit when they did that Dylan Mulvaney partnership, those commercials with that trans
Well,
guy selling Budweiser.
well,
They took a big hit doing that.
Well, what happened with did you hear about Papa John's? I mean, it's been a few
No.
years, but did you hear about Papa John's?
Mm-mm.
Papa John's, I mean, they got Shaq. Shaq's on board with Papa John's. But the Papa John guy was caught saying something um that was that wound up being shared, and the next thing you know, he dropped down as CEO of his own creation
Yeah, but
because
that's not the
what
norm.
he
Like the
spoke his mind, he spoke his free mind,
yeah.
but it affected the business, it affected people's jobs, it affected the investors, it affected it
But the reason
infected.
it's a story at all, the reason it sticks out is because it almost never happens. And this is one of the few times that it happened at this level, so it caught all this attention. But I don't think John Schnatter is the norm. I don't think the Papa John's guy is most people in business. And so this is an example of what not to do. But if you think like most business people are like him, and that's what you're worried about, I don't think they are. I think most people are going to do what you say and be diplomatic in their speech and know how to present a neutral image that brings in the most amount of people. But Elon's not obligated to do that. He could fuck up his business however he wants if he wants to. I don't think Americans need to step in and restrict him from doing that. But you're saying because he has all these other companies that our infrastructure is tied into, that we should come in and restrict him because that could jeopardize it for the rest of us. And I don't think it will. I don't think that's I don't think we're going to stop having SpaceX because he's fighting with Taylor Swift.
No,
But I
I'm
could
not.
be wrong. The way things are headed, I could very well be wrong.
I, I am not saying that at all. As far as restricting his speech, legally, constitutionally, however you want to put it. No, I am not saying that. I am saying though that somebody next to him, as the position that he has and the opportunities that could be uh, exponentially larger if he played his game rather than playing the political game. I think somebody should put an elbow in his ribs and tell him to shut the fuck up. I'm not
But
saying. I'm not
that's no
saying.
different than making a law. You just want like a soft law that restricts him without it actually being. But you're still trying to shut him up. That's what's at the core of this. You don't think he should be speaking and saying what he's saying, whether it's a law or some person next to him. And I've offered before to be his consultant because he's a Spurg. And I think if he had somebody like me with an eye for the Spurgery, we can make a great team. But he hasn't taken me up on it yet. But I mean, I'm happy to pull him aside and tell him this, but I'm not going to try to stop him from saying it. I don't know. There's just something that the whole shut the fuck up thing as an American. Even on the panelverse, when people try to shut people down, you see how I get.
I have. I've been grabbed by the shoulder before. I've been elbowed in the ribs. I've been told, hey, look me in the eyes and don't say anything. I've gone through situations like that before. Whereas if you go ahead and I just let you go, it's like, okay, you're gonna get what you're gonna get.
Yeah, but that exactly. He has the right to get what he's going to get. It's not your responsibility to babysit Elon Musk. Let him take the consequence. He's a grown man and a businessman. Let him take the consequences of his own mouth. Like he doesn't need to be babysat. But it sounds like people are worried because the consequences have the ability to affect their Teslas and their rocket ships, and like they're worried that the whole like house of dominoes could collapse if he doesn't watch his mouth. So they want someone in there punching him in the ribs to shut him up. And
It,
again, I go back to what is everyone so scared of? So, oh, Daisy, I'm just learning about it too. By the way, I still don't know the story or what the drama is. I feel like I'm like when I used to take the little kids' notes in class, I used to pick their notes, and it was like some note about a girl or boy or something. I didn't even know what they meant half the time. That's what this tweet reminds me of. So Taylor endorsed Kamala Harris, and then Elon sent this tweet. I'm going to read it. Fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life. That was the tweet. And everybody is up in arms saying, "Oh my God, somebody stop tweet! Elon's a disaster. Stop him from shut him up. He's going to ruin the company, and all of America's going to suffer." And I don't even know what the tweet fucking means. Like, it's so ridiculous. Oh, Donald's going after it too. He has the right to hate Taylor Swift. Like, there's people that don't like her music or her. Why are we policing? I'm Gen X. In my entire life, we've never policed this shit. You had like the moral majority people and the PMRC that tried to put like stickers on the record labels, and those were the enemy. Those were the Karens. Those were the people that nobody wanted in society or in their life. Like all of a sudden, the Karens are winning. They have everybody thinking that people need to be policed and babysat and or should not just be free to act and then take the consequences of their actions. I don't know what it means, but it has and get the okay, and then somehow it ended up in social media in the telephone game with him saying I'm going to put a baby in you. That's not what he said, but in social media, that's what it got translated to. So now people think Elon went around saying, "I'm going to put a baby in you, Taylor," because she endorsed Kamala. It's social media it is brain rotting all of it. It's making all of us so fucking stupid.
I agree. I agree on that for sure.
Plus, I keep this people. I think a lot of people miss this, but I see it like bright as day. Elon is a spurg. He is one of us. He is an outlier. You are not going to get normal from him. You have to adjust, suspend, modify your social expectations when it comes to people like Elon, people like me, people that hang on this stream, people in your life that are on the spectrum. You see how the autistic people here act. The fact that he's a spurg at the level he is running a company, that's nervous enough already. He's going to say all kind of shit. Like, we are not known for our social skills. Yeah, I'm starting to kind of see it. Like, it's I think social media is it's finding because it happens so real time and so instant and so in such a sensational way. It's bypassing our critical fact. We see and we instantly believe. We see and believe. We see and believe. And that little few seconds of critical processing, I think it's like overwhelming that. We're just not using that as much anymore. We're just consuming passively instead of actively. And we did that with television, but we had what 3 or 4 channels until cable came along, and now it's like a zillion channels a day that our brain are being hit with. Well, this was a good topic because I was not familiar with any of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
again,
wasn't.
I go like Dr. Head. Why do you expect your leaders to be anything but? juvenile and sophomoric like the rest of us. Like there's, I mean, you can make the argument that there's some quality that gets them into that position of leadership that may stand outside the norm or above the norm. But I don't think it's a necessary quality. I don't think it's much of one. Put it this way: I don't make assumptions about leaders. I've been enough. Most of the people at the jobs I've had that usually know the least about the job are the supervisors and the managers. And the higher up you go, the less they know. I'd never idolize my people at the top. Like they're just there to keep the company running and to be a resource if I need something. And in America, I keep saying we don't have leaders. We have represented. We're self-governing, and we elect people to represent us in the government. So I don't know what this leader thing is. Yeah, they're useless. Like I never get anything out of the middle management or the CEOs. They half the time they don't even know what I'm talking about when I try to describe the job problem that I'm trying to solve. They're like, just talk to your man, talk to somebody. Send me somebody lower down. Yeah, that's one thing I've tried to fight against is that overreach. They didn't rise to the top. They that is the voice of the people. The you're you're watching what America at any given time put at the top.
That that's actually a good one.
Well, at least we had a panel tonight. That was good. Well, we have a system for that. Head charge him and prosecute him if he is.
Hey Jeff, I just want to take this moment to say thank you for having me as always. Um, I'm not saying goodbye. I just want to say thank you for having me as always.
Well, I appreciate you and I enjoy your conversations. I remember the first time you came up and started talking about your jobs and being working class, and I thought it was very heartfelt. I related to it, and so thank you sincerely. I'm glad you're part of this.
It
You know what
feels
that's
good.
called, dog? That's called an opinion. So I guess thank you for sharing it. They're not only if I guess that's one of the issues. Maybe is I choose my examples myself. Like just because someone's in a certain position, they don't necessarily default to being an example for me. So if people are taking their models from social roles instead of the actual people in those roles, that's on them. They can choose what examples they want to follow or not. They can choose what they want to believe or not. They can be fed propaganda or lies or media, whatever. They still get to choose if they want to believe it or not. So people are not being passively programmed or controlled. They have a role in what the contents of their mind. So what else is going on? What did you do tonight?
I I had a a child's curriculum interface.
Do like for your kid
Yes.
with school? Oh, 'cause school just started.
Well, it's been a month.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. It's what so like how is it these days in
Bro,
school?
first grade is writing letters, spelling words, doing math. Like, hey, can you count this on your fingers? How many fingers am I holding up, Jeff?
2.
Okay, you pass first
I
grade
passed
math.
the first grade. Look at that. Well, good. That actually encourages me. I'm glad they're teaching that. I'm glad they're at least teaching that.
But I'll say this: there are the differentiations of how you come to one. What makes one? Well, does one train meeting another train make two trains? You know, it's easy with your fingers. Hey, 1 plus 1 makes 2. Hey, add another one. What do we have? We have 3. Hey, go ahead and add another one. What do we have? Oh, we have 4. Oh, go ahead, add 5.
That's pretty cool. I think I almost have more faith in you as a teacher than some of the teachers that I see.
Yeah, and then you go into the other hand.
That's how we did it. Learn to count to
I,
10 and then you could use your toes if you needed. But we didn't even need that. It the number system wasn't that hard for me to pick up. And I say it again, I can't say this enough. We had Schoolhouse Rock. They taught us all of our multiplications. Yeah, and put better people in. Like you get what you put in. So run better dignitaries. It's I think there's several things that are related. There's a sense of mistrust, a sense of fear, and our anger. And but even beneath all of that, there's like a deep sense of disempowerment. I think people just don't feel like they have power over their own lives anymore. And that kind of mystifies me more than anything. Yeah, absolutely, dog. They do. They can go work anywhere they want. I agree. Hooking up phrases and something in clauses. What is it? Hooking up phrases and fuck conjunction junction. What's your function? Hooking up words and phrases and clauses. There we go.
hey, I can say this. Um, I've been a babysitter before, and now I'm a father. If you put me in charge of your child, I do not care how you raised your child. I will stand ready to put my hands on your child. Because if your child acts up, I'm gonna stop them from burning the house down. I'm gonna stop them from, you know, uh, pouring the milk on the floor. If they
That's
want to
probably a
try,
good thing. But that controversy came up growing up, even in my generation, of like, to what extent can your friends' parents discipline other people's kids? And at least in my culture, it was like very hands off. Like it was kind of a no to like mess with other people's kids. The most they would do, or the first step, would be like they would call your parents and tell your parents what happened, and then let your parents decide what they want to do about it. But every now and then, like I guess a parent could step in. Like I don't know that I would ever like advocate for a non-parent to physically lay a hand on a kid, but they could certainly verbally step in and say, "Hey, don't drop that milk, or you're going to clean up
uh,
that mess that you just made."
I'll tell you, Jeff. Um, I became an uncle when I was 11. I was a automatic babysitter based off of the situation, and it was very tough because uh, uh, you're gonna put this thing in front of me, and you're not gonna teach me how to change a diaper.
Yeah, I wasn't very good at that either.
Yeah, but my sister left her child with me, and I wasn't gonna do what I wanted to do. This kid was just thrust in front of me, and I can't let the kid suffer. I could let her suffer with my words after the fact, but you left this needing thing for me, and you said you would be right back. But oh God, you were gone for 4 hours. There's only so much you can do. Like I'm not gonna breastfeed the child.
You can,
You
I
didn't
hear that you
prepare.
can nowadays if you wanted to.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, they have trans people that are expressing milk somehow and give it to their babies.
Try
So,
try be try
oh, go ahead.
try being that try being that your sister, and you're not connected to the community. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Good luck.
So you were placed in like a position of responsibility very early,
Yeah,
like
my
in your own
even
childhood.
even my own wife, when we were expecting, I say we were expecting, but she was the one that's going to give birth. It's like, well, I've already held a baby. I've already fed a baby. I've 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 already been shit on. I've been pissed on.
We had baby alive for that.
Yeah, but my wife, like, yeah, she had to give birth. I will never discount that. However, the things that happen after that, I learned that at 11. So I'm I will never discount you giving me um me being a father. Uh, that's amazing, and it's amazing every single day.
Dads are
However,
heroes to me. Like functional fathers are heroes to me, and autistic dads, those are my heroes. All of you.
but there is a however, and it's however, hey, don't confuse your emotions with my actions because I'm gonna make shit happen. Kid needs to eat. I don't care if I have to wear a bra with fake nipples. That's giving this child your breast milk. I don't care. Yeah, and I think you're laughing because you can picture it. It makes
It's
sense.
it's yes, it's very surreal.
I would do anything for my child. I would jump in front of a car for my child. I would do anything for my child. I sometimes I feel like I barely deserve to be on this earth, but my child deserves better. And I'm the one that is gonna say, hey, whatever the hard hit is, let me take the hard hit. But you need to be here for tomorrow.
There's a lot of people that don't have that instinct that you just described. I think that's a valuable thing. And you're right, dog. There's no guide to parents. Like my own parents were they were young. They didn't know. I was their first child. Um they were figuring out as they go, and I was like, can you imagine me as your first learning project? They did pretty good with all the ones after me. I was their learning curve, I think. But I could tell, even as a kid, I could tell like they don't really know any more than I do about things. They're fumbling through it like everybody else. They're doing the best they can.
Hey Jeff, I have to say goodnight. Um, that's about it.
Untrackable, it
So,
was a pleasure. I enjoyed our conversation. I didn't know about the Elon thing, so that was good right there. Peace. Um, Very thought provoking. I think some good issues came up that are relevant to today. And keep coming back for sure. Glad you could hang out. Conscientiousness, yeah. Um, and it's important to note in the Big Five, if you go by that model, that there's different like facets or trait domains, and conscientiousness is broken up into several sub facets, and I forget what the two domains are. I think order is one of them. And you can be, or with me, I'm very high, really high in some, and really, really low in others. So my conscientiousness profile is very spiky. And like I scored very low, even lower. I scored a 12 in politeness for the agreeableness part out of 100. And I scored even lower in orderliness. I scored an 8. So I'm very low in orderliness, but I was very high in whatever that other domain was. And so conscientiousness is kind of spread over several traits, and they could be at different levels. So people can appear conscientious in some context and very unconscientious in others. Who, me or Liliana? Oh, I'm fine. My anxiety's fine. I might I might Bex, are you still out there? Do you want to go take a break and get another few episodes in? Yes, yes, Head. I agree. The fault. Yes, there's not only an attack on men and the male and masculinity, but the father at the center, the patriarchy. There's definitely an attack on, I'd say, male leadership. And there's also been a trend over the past few generations of very poor male leadership. So the attack is not necessarily unjustified, but I think it's not as targeted as it could be. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, then I think what I'm going to do is wind it down. We've been going. Maybe I'll go 10 more minutes and try to make 2 hours because I did over 6 hours earlier. So this really is a full day. I'm trying to do more or less 8 hours a day, like a full work day. Um, and so I feel like I accomplished that today. Intuitive. Shit. Winston, I like you. Oh. Is that the vibe epistemology that a lot of women use? By the way, somebody made a video of Mike's. They tagged me in a Mike's Road video about him and Liliana and saying, and none of that stuff interested me. I didn't care about any of that. It wasn't this big like Geraldo's Vault reveal on this big lie he told. He knew of her. He knew who she was, and a lot of the things they're like playing a video of him, and they're like hyperventilating and laying across the fainting couch over every little thing he's saying that oh my god, did you just hear him say that about women and his look at what he thinks about, and I didn't pick up on any. I'm like, I think you have to be a woman to care. I guess that's my point. Not being a woman, being an autistic male or a male in general, that's locker room talk. Guys say this shit all the time. And so the stuff that I saw in that video did not have the same impact on me that it might have had on females. So it's whatever y'all are trying to get me to see, I'm not female enough to relate to it, but despite what some people think about me. I guess if you're a woman, yeah, that stuff would bother you. Just like if there's autistic videos, they might bother me, but a neurotypical might see it and say, I just don't see the big deal. And so it might just be a woman thing. I'm not bothered by the stuff y'all keep showing me from Mike. But I mean, not being a female, I won't dismiss any of it, but then I have to ask why you keep chasing him around if he's such an unpleasant stimulus. All right, let's see. 8. Fuck it. I could just end it. I don't have to wait arbitrarily 8 minutes. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. I think it was a good chat. I enjoyed it. And I'm going to go hang out in the Discord for a little while. And I'll be back at some point. All right. Take care. Thanks again.